Okay, so this might sound a bit weird, but I hate being reassured of things or helped with things I'm capable of doing myself. Not because I'm arrogant or anything, just because most of the time, people aren't good at it, and therefore they end up not doing anything or even just making the situation much worse. I would much rather you insult me than compliment me for something I didn't do. So in this video, I'll go over 2 types of phrases people use to try and be encouraging or helpful that I cannot stand.
Don't get mad at me. I'm full of
Okay, so just imagine that you're at school and today you have a test on a subject you're not very good at. So you're worried that you're going to fail the test. So you do the test and you go to school the next day, and to your surprise, you do crap. So you're sitting there upset because you messed up. Well, not to worry, because your friends, wankers that they are, decide to come up to you and say to you, well, look at my score. At least you didn't do as bad as I did. Well, no, I didn't. That doesn't mean I'm smart, that just means you're stupid. Honestly, looking at some of you in here, I could sneeze to get a better test score than you. Telling someone it could have been worse doesn't help the situation at all. Imagine coming 7th place in a race and the guy in last place comes to you and goes, haha, could have been worse. My issue isn't how much worse it could have been, my issue is how much better it needed to be. For example, going back to the test example, imagine that was my GCSEs, and in order to have a shot at my ideal university, I needed at least 92%. What good is it trying to convince me that 79% isn't that bad? And even if that were the ideal approach, how does telling me that you did worse help?
won't you come with me?
If you're one of the people who do this, encouraging people by telling them that you or someone else did worse, do yourself a favour and don't bother. I would much rather you make me feel worse about myself than you make me feel good about myself on something I've screwed up.
I'm rehearsing. Ain't got much time.
So again, let's paint the scenario. You're on your phone texting your mate about something, and eventually you decide you want to stop texting them. So you invite them over to your house and go and do something else. You then go and do that something else and decide you want to go back on your phone. However, you go back to look for your phone and you can't find it. So you look around the house to try and find it. But lucky for you, just as this happened, your friend just so happened to arrive. So you tell them about the situation, and instead of helping you look like any sensible person would do in that scenario, they think it will be more beneficial to ask you, did you check where you last remember putting it? What kind of question is that? Of course I checked where I last remember putting it, you knobhead. That's the first place I checked. As if I were to lose something and then say to myself, oh actually, you know what, I'm going to check everywhere except the place I last remember putting it. Do you really think you're helping by asking that bloody stupid question? The fact that it isn't where I last remember putting it is what made me come to the conclusion that I've lost it in the first place. And when you do remember where you last put it, and then go, oh, I remember putting it here now, your friend, plonker that they are, decide to tell you, see, I told you so. Are you deliberately trying to annoy me? You didn't tell me anything, or at least not anything of value. Do you not think I would have checked here if I realised that this was where I last put it? And also, considering how haphazardly you reacted to something like this, I guess you must never lose things because you just go back to where you last put it and it's right there all the time, isn't it? I hate phrases like that last one, where they just state the extremely obvious and then call themselves geniuses afterwards. Like imagine using this phrase in other situations. What? Chocolate? Oh sorry mate, I can't eat this. Put it in my mouth. Oh actually, no you're right, that makes it so much easier to eat. Thanks a lot mate. Don't advise someone by telling them the very first thing they should have considered, for goodness sake. Of course he's put it in his mouth before. How else do you think he would have come to the conclusion that he can't eat it, you pillow? Okay, so what have we learnt today? Firstly, don't try and make someone feel better about themselves by telling them about how you or someone else did worse. B, if someone's lost something or something similar, there's no need to comment. Just help them find it, for goodness sake. And C, even if you are going to comment, don't just tell them to do the very thing that made them say what they did. Or if you can't remember all 3, to sum it up into one, don't help or encourage someone by pointing out things that are irrelevant or just blatantly obvious. Do this, and together we can make the world slightly less annoying.